Hi, everyone, and welcome to our What's New in Canvas webinar. My name is Ginny McGee, and my colleague Rich Cummings is with me today, and we are the instructional designers in the e-learning division, if anyone in here does not know us. And we are going to be looking at all the new things in Canvas that have been rolled out in the last couple of months. So just a couple of things before we get started with our agenda here. I do ask that you mute yourself when you're not talking, just so we can cut down on background noise. And if you do have a question at any point in time, you can ask it, but we just ask that you click the raise the hand option in the webinar controls. You'll just go to reactions and then click raise hand, and that way we'll know that you have a question and we can pause to ask you to share your question. If you'd rather just type your question into the chat, you can do that as well. We'll be monitoring the chat. All right, so here is our agenda today, and it looks like a lot, and it is in a way. Some of these things are not super different, so we're not going to have to spend a whole lot of time on them. And all of these are already available in Canvas now. So we're going to start. Rich is going to talk about the discussions redesign, and then we're going to look at the new screen capture option in SpeedGrader, which is kind of cool. There's now a smart search option, which you might have seen in the left-hand navigation of your courses, and a rubrics redesign. We will look at the new modules menu. You've got some additional options there now. There are new settings in the inbox that we'll take a look at. And then there are some other little more minor Canvas changes that I just want to point out so that everyone is aware of them. And then I'm going to throw it back to Rich, and he's going to talk about some new and important information in our third-party tools like CopyLeaks. We'll talk a little bit about the new publisher LTIs and Respondus lockdown browser. So again, if at any point in time you have a question, feel free to raise your hand and we'll pause to let you ask your question, or you can just type it into the chat. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to go ahead and throw this over to Rich so he can talk to you about the discussions redesign.
Good morning, everybody. There we go. I hope everybody can see my screen here.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, first thing we're going to talk about today is the discussion changes. Nothing overly major about how to create a discussion or how to use a discussion in your classes, but there are some things that Canvas has made some changes to that made it a bit more granular, gives the professors a little bit more control over what they're doing in the class. The first part I want to point out to you is in the discussion setup, some of the menus have changed. What you see here is, let me go back one screen. I'm sorry about that. When you open a discussion or if you create a discussion, you're going to see some of the menu items have changed around the screen. Anything that you have seen in the past that may have been at the top, such as an edit, is now been put into the menu with the three dots on the right side of the screen. So you could just drop that down and you'll get a list of menu options. Included in that is the SpeedGrader. The SpeedGrader is no longer visible on the home page itself. It is in the drop-down menu, and you can select it from there. The first thing we're going to look at is in the discussion post is the actual format. As you can see, there are some changes as to how things are threaded. Canvas has come out with a split screen option where you can pull everything out into a split screen. I've been using the new discussions over the summer in a class I was teaching, and I personally have switched back to the inline because it's much easier for me to keep track of things. But in the discussion, if it's set up for split screen view, all your initial replies from your students will come up as normal. In order for you to see the threaded replies, if there's two replies to this one, just click the link and they will pop up in There we go. They'll pop up in a side box. Will come out of the side of the screen. There you'll be able to see the completed threads, including the initial thread and every thread attached. And you will scroll down and you can do your individual replies. You can do your individual grading if you need to. Um, in order, if you're not comfortable with that or the pop out, you can always close it. They do have an option at the top of the screen for viewing everything in line as it was before. If you click on view inline, and you can expand all the threads, everything will come up for you now. When you click the replies, everything will come up in line with the thread attached all in one. You can make your individual student replies, or you can reply to the initial thread itself. As far as the setup and editing of or creating a discussion post, some things have changed. Some things get a bit more granular. You do have some new options in creating when you're creating a new discussion post. You can create anonymous discussions, and you have control over what the student or the overall students can see, can't see, as far as names, profile pictures, so forth and so on. You have a off where the student names and profile pictures are visible to everybody. Partial, students can choose and reveal their names and profile pictures, or full, everything is going to be hidden. This is grayed out right now because that's discussion post recreated that's in progress. Once the discussion post starts and students start posting threads, you no longer can control that. Again, some of the setup things have been put into a small menu here about participants must respond to the topic before the replies. Enable a podcast feed. It's graded. You can allow liking if you choose to use this, and you can set up the group discussion if you need to. As you scroll down, your points, how you want it graded, and where you would like the assignment group put for this particular assignment. You can do that. Now, one recent change we had a change, I guess 2 or 3 weeks ago, where Canvas pushed out a update where discussions and assignments, people were getting emails saying, "Hey, I can't find how to set the dates. Where'd they go?" Well, Canvas for some reason turned this into a link, which was appearing at the bottom. You'd actually click the link to open the date box on the side. Canvas was getting crushed with complaints about it because it was just adding another step to the process of creating an assignment or a discussion post. So they do listen when they get enough complaints from colleges and everybody using their service. And as of last night, they switched it back. So you will no longer see that link there. So your dates will come up as you're seeing them right here automatically when you're creating the discussion post. And you will go back as you were doing before. If you had to make an extension for a particular student, you just click to add the assigned student and the due dates and so forth and so on. If you have created assignments also in the last couple of weeks, which you probably have because classes have started, and you ran into a problem with putting dates in that pop-up, if you saw it when you clicked the link and you were getting error messages, this fix here is supposed to have corrected that also. There was a fix for that for the dates. If you run into a problem with the dates and you continually get errors when you set dates for an assignment, please let us know and we will get in touch with Canvas and ask them what's going on. But there was a workaround for it, which we'll go over in a minute. When you go into your assignments, you can do mass deployment of dates for all your assignments. We'll show you that in a minute. So that's the discussion overall to changes. You'll see not crazy changes to everything, just a couple minor changes, but the biggest thing I saw was the menu changes. Some of us were getting a little bit confused on where we can find everything. Again, SpeedGrader is missing from the top. You'll find it in the drop-down menu, and all your editing tools and everything you need to create the discussion post will be found in this menu. Is there any questions on that so far? Okay, I don't see any hands or any questions. If you have a question, you don't want to put it in the chat, feel free to unmute yourself and just go ahead and ask. It's no problem.
All right, thank you, Rich. So one other quick note about discussions is that as of the last time we had a Canvas update. We were told that in October, they are going to roll out a new feature that is called checkpoints in discussions that's going to allow you to be able to set more than one due date. So you could have a due date for when the students have to post their initial response, and then a second due date for when they have to have replied to the posts of classmates. We don't know what that's going to look like yet. And, we always take things with a grain of salt when we get a date of when things will be rolled out, because dates always seem to get pushed back. And as Rich mentioned, we've gotten a little whiplash lately from all the changes that they've been making, and then some of them they have taken back. So we will keep you posted as much as we can for what we find out. So I am going to go ahead and move on to our next new feature. And this one I think is kind of cool. So this is the screen capture option that is now available in SpeedGrader. And so this is one that I actually did before. So I'm in an assignment. Just so we all know, when you're in an assignment, if you once you get student submissions, you can click on SpeedGrader, and then you can select the student whose submission you want to grade from this menu up here, in case that's new to anyone. But this is a screen capture that I did previously for this assignment. And so what it does is it will allow you to record your screen and your voice as you go over feedback for a student's submission. So this is going to be helpful, especially if you've got maybe more involved or complicated feedback. It should probably make things a little quicker and also enable you to be a little more clear in your feedback to students. And it will allow you to go through and record yourself as you go over a student's submission. So if you want to enable this, you'll click on this little camera at the bottom. Looks like a little video camera. When you click on that, it's going to pull up the record media option. And there I am. And you can turn off the webcam if you want, or you can keep it on and it will record your face as well. And you would want to, if you want to record the screen, you would want to click enabled. And then when you start recording, you'll be able to pick what screen you want to show. So the cool thing about this is you could, of course, most of the time, you'll probably just be recording yourself going over the student's submission, but you can also pull up another website or a page from the textbook or something else if you have another way that you'd like to demonstrate your feedback or illustrate a point for your students. So when you click share and click start recording, it's going to go ahead and record your screen, record your voice. And then when you're done, you'll click finish recording and you can watch it. And if you like it, then you can click save media, and that will be available to your students when they click on the assignment to view their feedback. So I want to show you quickly what this will look like from the student view. Let me make sure I know which student I did that for. Okay. So when you complete this and you provide this feedback for students, it's going to come up over on the right-hand side of the course homepage under recent feedback, and they can click on, they'll see your little screenshot of your media review, and then they can click on the assignment itself to get to the feedback page to view. We did test it out, and this does work on the Canvas app for both iPhones and Android for the students to be able to view your feedback. So even if they're not at a computer, they can still access this and view it from their phones. All right, so the next thing that I want to show you here And this did not work so well the last time, so hopefully it will work better this time. So there is now a smart search option in Canvas, and what this will allow you to do is to do a search for, let me stop acting as this student here. This will allow you to do a search and look for keywords that will help you find a paper or a file. Your students have access to this as well. So it's going to be helpful if they're thinking, you know, I know my instructor had a document on this and now I can't find it. So let's say, for example, now this, there we go. This worked fine. Last week, I got an error message, so that's an improvement. So I'm in the Canvas Faculty Hub right now, and let's say that you're in the Canvas Faculty Hub and you just want to very quickly find all of our information about the lockdown browser and monitor. You can just type it into the search, and it'll come up with all of the search results. Again, your students do have access to this, but it's only going to pull up results for things that they already have access to. So it's not going to pull up files that aren't published or things in that are not available yet due to availability dates, that kind of thing. So it's only going to bring up stuff that they already would have access to. But it's kind of a cool feature, especially in courses that have a lot of content. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the next item here. So we have there has been a rubrics redesign. And so if you have not used rubrics in Canvas before, it has gotten easier. The format is a lot easier to work with. And full disclosure, let's see if this saved. I saved this a couple of times when I was editing it and went back, and it had reverted back to its old view. So I've put in a ticket with Canvas to find out what's going on with that. Hopefully that was just a little glitch. We'll click on. So yeah, so this actually reverted back to its previous view here. Hopefully they'll have an answer for me. Maybe before you go in and edit a rubric and make big changes, just try saving it once to make sure that your changes do save. So I apologize for that, and we'll make sure that everyone is up to date on if and when this issue is solved. But the rubric redesign is nice as far as just being more easy to use. So the change that I had made earlier was just going through and taking these the ratings and putting them in the description. You can easily put in your criterion. You can easily delete criteria. You can add them. So if I wanted to add an additional one in here, it's very easy to change the points. And then when you're done, click save. And the nicest part of rubrics is make things very easy when you're trying to grade an assignment. So in SpeedGrader, if you click view rubric, this is a little different now too. And if you leave this drop down menu on the traditional view, it's a little bit hard to see, but I really like this vertical option. So what this does is put up the whole rubric. Each criterion is going to be listed separately, and you just can easily click on the score that you're giving to the student for each item. You'll see the score that they've earned in the little box for each individual criterion, and it will also add them up at the top. So you'll see you can put your scores in, you can put comments in, and you can see up at the top, it's adding up the student scores. So this can make grading papers or projects, that type of thing, a lot easier if you have that rubric in there. Now, last time I did get a question, so I just want to make sure everyone knows how to add a rubric to an assignment. So if you are in an assignment find one that does not have a rubric. So let's go here. So in discussions, you'll click the three dots and you would click add rubric from there, and you would select the rubric that you want. In assignments, there is a little button at the bottom of the assignment that's going to say add rubric. So you'll see this add rubric button after you create an assignment, and you'll click find a rubric, and then you can select the rubric that you want from the list and then click use this rubric, and it will associate that rubric with your assignment, and you'll be able to see it in SpeedGrader. So if there's any questions about anything at all that we have gone over so far, please feel free to type those into the chat, and we'll be happy to answer those questions for you. All right. Let me go ahead to our next item here that you may have noticed, especially if you were in there adding modules or editing dates, that type of thing. So there are new options in the modules menu. So if you click on the three dots to the right of a module and click edit, you're going to see a screen or a tray that's going to slide out over on the right. And this is pretty similar to how it was before. So this is where you put the name. If you set prerequisite requirements or submission requirements for items in your module, that's done here in this tray now. And so you can have the students complete all the items. You can choose to let them or to require them to move through the items in sequential order. And then you can also, for individual items, select what students have to do in order for that item to be complete. So they might just have to view it if it's a document, or they might have to submit it if it's an assignment. So this looks a little different than it did, but the options are pretty much the same as they used to be as far as setting requirements. What's different is this assign to option. And previously, you could not assign a module to an individual student. You could assign an assignment or a quiz to an individual student. Now you have the option to assign, let's say you have a student that has makeup work to do, or you're sort of differentiating how you're approaching things or providing extra practice for a student or group of students. So you can click here and just select individual students to be added to a module, and only those students will view that module. So this is added flexibility for assigning work to students. So now only those students are going to see this module, and I can see that in the upper right-hand corner. It lets me know if I click view assigned to, I can see who it is assigned to. So it just gives you a little bit of extra flexibility. All right, next I want to go to our inbox here. So we get some complaints about the inbox, and the things that people usually complain about are not the things that they fixed. So we usually hear about the fact that there are no text formatting tools in the inbox. There still are not, but there are a couple things here. You'll see a new compose button up at the top. So that is instead of there used to be a little button here that showed a pencil paper. Now it's a little bit larger. The weird thing is when I'm in student view, I'm not seeing this. It looks like the old way. So this is, I believe for right now, just in the instructor view. You also have a gear here that is going to take you to the inbox settings. So that's new. And what you can do from here is set an out of office reply if you'd like. So if you want to have just like a general message that goes to students, you can do that. Or if you are going to be unavailable for a certain period of time, you can always put that in there to let your students know. And the other thing that is now available here is a signature block option. So you can put in, just like with your Outlook email, you can put a signature block, and it's going to add that at the bottom of all of your inbox messages. So just a couple of extra features that we wanted to point out there. All right, so now those are the most major or involved changes. I do want to go just to a couple of things in announcements. Not anything too exciting, but in announcements, you can now set an end date for announcements. So previously, you could send an announcement out, but you couldn't set a time when that announcement would disappear from student view. It would just kind of stay up there or in the announcements tab for the rest of the semester. So now you can come in and set the date you want the announcement to go out, which is nice. Previously, you had to click display or delay posting in order to see a date and time option of when you wanted the message to go out. Now it's just here. You need to set a date and time that you want it to be available, and then you can set the end date and time if it's something that is only relevant for a short period of time. You can allow that to be removed from the student's homepage. So just a quick notification there. And one other thing that you probably already noticed, but I do want to point out, let me go to a course that is not published here. The publish button has changed, and it's not difficult, but just since we're here, I figure I might as well point it out. So over on the right-hand side of the homepage, you used to have a publish button, a publish and unpublished. Now you've got a course status menu, and it's a drop-down menu. So you can change from publish, unpublished to published just by changing the state of the course. So it's just a little bit more self-explanatory for instructors that might be new to Canvas. One other quick thing, and this isn't necessarily new, but I have found that a lot of instructors don't seem to be aware that this is a thing, and it is helpful, especially when you're first setting up a course at the beginning of a semester, or if you've just replicated a course. So I am in my assignments tab right now, and when I click on the three dots next to the add assignment button, I can click edit assignment dates, and that's going to bring up a list of all of the assignments, discussions, quizzes, anything that is graded. And I can go ahead in here and just change all my dates at one time, or as many as I want to do. And so it just makes it a little quicker instead of having to go in, especially when have just replicated a course, instead of having to click on every single assignment and click edit and then go in and change the dates from there. You can do it from here. So this is a nice quick way to set due dates or an availability dates for your assignments. When you're finished, you will click save at the top and it will save your assignment dates. Okay, so are there any questions about anything that we have gone over so far? And if not, I am, and we'll have time at the end as well if anybody has thought of something. So I'm going to go ahead and open it back up for Rich to go over some new features or considerations for some of our third-party applications that we have in Canvas.
Okay. Just some things I wanted to touch on as the semester starts again. Some things have come up in the last couple semesters regarding copy leaks, Respondus, and a couple LTI changes we had to make over the summer. I'll start with the LTI changes for Pearson and McGraw-Hill. If you're using first thing I want to mention is no matter what class you're teaching, face-to-face or online, you have to have the first day course materials link up in your course. It's not automatic. If you transfer a course from a previous semester where you did not have it up, it won't be there. So you'll have to go in the navigation menu and enable it. It's imperative that the students have access to that all semester. We had some upgrades in the way that Pearson and McGraw-Hill communicate with Canvas and the first day program and the books, and we had to make some changes. Nothing that you will see on your side, a lot of back end changes, with the exception of the labeling of the uh, the tools. Um, you may have seen over the summer, we had changed the MH Connect for McGraw-Hill. I put a note on there not to use after summer 2024. You will no longer see that. That was taken down a couple days ago. It's now just called McGraw-Hill. So if you're pairing your book with McGraw-Hill Connect or any of their platforms, that is the tab you'll use for all McGraw-Hill products, with the exception right now of Alex. Alex is still its own individual link that you'll have to enable. McGraw-Hill has told us probably within the next 5 or 6 months, Alex will be integrated into the McGraw-Hill link, but we'll keep you apprised of those changes as they come up. Pearson, MyLab and Pearson were in the past were two individual tools in Canvas. If you're using Pearson Revel, you would have to use the Pearson link. If you're using MyLab, you would use the MyLab link. They have integrated those into one link now. It's called Access Pearson. If you're using any Pearson products right now, that is the link that you will have to have up for your students and for you to access those platforms. Again, it's just a lot of back-end changes in how they communicate and an upgraded tool. So we had to rename them as to what they wanted to have. So far this semester, there haven't been many problems with getting everything integrated. Just a little bit of confusion on which link to use, but all the old links are no longer available to faculty. It's just a new link. So if you run into any problems, please reach out to us and we will do our best to get you through the issues. Copy leaks. We've been using copy leaks for our AI and plagiarism checker for almost a year now. This semester will be coming up, will be a year. We were notified a couple months ago that they have an add-on called Writing Assistant. Easy comparison for Writing Assistant is it's the Grammarly of the old, where Grammarly used to just do sentence structure, spelling, comma, all that kind of stuff without making changes to the document. Grammarly has morphed into basically an AI now, where if students are using Grammarly and it makes any changes to their product and they put it back into their assignment, CopyLeaks will register that as a AI hit because it's not their work. So CopyLeaks solution is for this is the Writing Assistant. What we have is it's an add-on. It's something that you'll see in the reporting. We have it turned on automatically for everybody. You don't have to use it if you don't want to use it, but it is on and available to all faculty. The only thing you'll have to do is part of your assignments, your written assignments, if things are being submitted, is you'll have to allow the student to submit more than one time to the assignment. One, the original assignment, so they can view the CopyLeaks report, AI, plagiarism, and now Writing Assistant. And the Writing Assistant will give them suggestions on what to fix, sentence structure, paragraph issues, grammar, whatever. The nice thing about the Writing Assistant inside CopyLeaks is it will not automatically make changes to the document. The student will have to go out to the original document, make the changes, and resubmit the assignment. So if you have them checking this, you may want to set your assignments to 2, 3, 4 times. It's up to you how many times you want them to submit the assignment to make changes. On the Canvas side, it will register as a separate assignment submission every time. So you'll be able to view the original document all the way through to the last document. How do we get to it? The Writing Assistant, if you're using it. You'll get to it the same way you'll get to if you're checking for plagiarism and AI, you'll go to the SpeedGrader. You'll see a similarity score here. All you do is click the similarity score and it'll bring up the CopyLeaks report. The third tab has been added. We're not going to get into today into the plagiarism score and the AI. You'll see those have been here for the last 9 months. The Writing Assistant tab is the one that has been added. quickly typed up a document with a couple errors and it recognized a couple errors, it'll provide suggestions to what the sentence structure is and what the corrections could be. And the student go back outside the assignment, rewrite it, and resubmit it. Student has full access to the CopyLeaks reports. They can get to the full CopyLeaks report through their side of the gradebook. When they click on the similarity score on their side, they get the same report that you get. One thing you can do also is you can download the PDF report. The PDF report does give a little bit a clear picture of all three. I'm only bringing up this now because right now the writing assistant report is only in the SpeedGrader. It's not part of the CopyLeaks PDF report for AI and plagiarism. We spoke to CopyLeaks over the last couple months, and they do plan within the next couple months of adding the writing assistant report to the final PDF report if you need to download it for some reason. So that is the writing assistant. Is there any questions on that? Again, we rolled this out close at the end of the spring semester. There are some English department professors that have been using it. And there's a lot of buy-in so far. A lot of people have liked what it's done because it's a good learning tool for the student without correcting it for them. They actually have to go out and correct the paper and do it themselves. It works as pretty well as a learning tool. So any questions on the CopyLeaks update and with Writing Assistant? Again, if you want to unmute and you don't have to type in the chat, you can unmute and ask your questions. All right, Respondus Lockdown Browser. We have a variety of professors using Respondus Lockdown Browser for, I'm going to say, 95, 98% of the time it goes off without a hitch, but it's very important that the instructors give the proper instructions to the students on how to use Respondus. Some of the issues that come up lately are the new quiz format versus the classic quiz format in Canvas. Respondus reacts to that in two different ways. If you're using the classic quiz format, the students have to use the download link, download Respondus to their computer, go to Respondus first. It will take them to Canvas. They'll log in, take their test, and go from there. New quizzes, you go to Canvas as normal, start your quiz, and then as long as they have downloaded Respondus to their computer, it will automatically trigger it to activate. You don't have to start it first. The issues coming in, we get a lot of this from students. Hey, I'm trying to start my quiz and it keeps looping me back and telling me I have to download it. I downloaded it already. That's usually the case where the student is taking a classic quiz and is trying to start the quiz from the new quiz side. There's nothing you can do about that. Sometimes there's confusion other than give clear instructions to the students on how to get that done or which one you're using. I have a shell for Respondus and CopyLeaks with support guides in it. If you would like me to add you to that, I kind of condensed everything down from their websites, all the student instructions for both, the download links, everything. Although a lot of this is in the faculty hub, I still kind of whittled it down to two separate shells. If you wanted me to add you to that, just shoot me an email and I'll be more than happy to add you to that, where you can get those student instructions, the Respondus link, everything you need from them. One other thing that has come up over the last semester is the import-export of classes concerning Respondus. Yes, if you're using Respondus from one semester to another in the class, yes, it does follow the class, but it's very important that after you make your transfer to the next semester's class, you have to click the Lockdown Browser link to finalize the transfer. You don't have to do anything to your settings. The settings will follow, but you actually just have to open Lockdown Browser and for the first time before the class is published. And it will recognize that the transfer has been completed. You'll get a message at the top of the screen and everything should be good to go for the semester. If you don't do that, when the student goes to take the Respondus test, it's going to say the class hasn't been linked to Respondus and they get an error message. So that's what's causing that problem. I just wanted to make everybody aware of that. So again, if you run into any problems with Respondus, we're here to support everybody. Send me emails, call us, what we have to do, and we'll be more than happy to support that. That's all I have on CopyLeaks, Respondus, and the Pearson LTI changes for first day. Is there any questions or anything, comments, anything I could do to clear anything up? Okay, I don't see anything.
All right.
Turn it back over to Jenny.
Thank you, Rich. And one just quick reminder, if you are using Respondus Lockdown Browser, please, please, please put a practice quiz in your course that students can take prior to the first actual real graded quiz or exam. That will really help with troubleshooting. It really helps us because we get usually all the panicked students that missed an actual test, and it gives us time to have them come in with their device or to set up a meeting with them to get all of that straightened out prior to their first real exam. All right, so that is everything that we had planned to share with you today. So if there are any other questions, please feel free to ask, and we'll be happy to hang out here for a few minutes to let you ask any questions. If you have a question at any point in time or need assistance with anything, that is our email address for the e-learning inbox. All of us in e-learning check this regularly, and we will be happy to get back to you quickly. So if you don't have any questions, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I hope that you found this to be helpful, and I hope you have a great long Labor Day weekend and a wonderful semester.